The New York Giants team preview edition of the Stephie Smalls Show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to a $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SMALLS.
Are you ready?
What is up? It's Monday. Hello, everyone. We are back. Welcome back to the Stephie Smalls Show. I am your host, Stephie Smalls. It is New York Giants team preview day. I'm so excited to have on my first guest, Emory Hunt, someone that I've been a fan of for a very long time. And then Nicky the Good is finally gracing us with his presence. And then producer Ryan will come on towards the end. But let's get right into it. Probably the most incredible draft guide that you can find is created by Emory. Emory, how's it going?
I'm doing fantastic, Stephie, man. I appreciate you bringing me on the show.
Yes, it's funny. I don't have a lot of notifications on for people on Twitter because it's a lot. You are one of the people that I do actually have them on for. So I'm very excited to have you on. You're with CBS Sportsline. How is the preseason treating you?
Good. As you may know, it doesn't stop on my end in terms of football because I go from draft to UFL to CFL, European League. So it's football all year round, which is something I'm not complaining about. So I'm excited.
You have to tell me a little bit about the European League because I listened to you on a podcast recently, and it's very interesting. Tell people a tiny bit about it before we talk about the New York Giants here.
Right. If I don't, I'm old, so it's like I remember when there was the World League of American Football, and when that started, it was 91, 92, and it was something that was brand new, and it was kind of like, wow, they're playing football over in Europe, but it was primarily American players with maybe two local players on each roster. So fast, the league got out of it when Roger Goodell became the commissioner. So in 2007, they canceled the World League of American Football. It was called NFL Europe at the time. And then this new league, the European League of Football, started 5 years ago. And what has happened since from 07 to now is we saw the NFL play games over in Europe multiple times over. So the homegrown talent has grown significantly. A former college teammate of mine, I graduated college in 2002. He was playing ball in France. And I had a couple of guys, friends of mine, college teammates of mine, go and play in Germany. So I know there was football over there, but seeing the growth from the homegrown talent to where this European League now has 16 franchises, probably going to grow they want to grow to 24. Awesome. And you only have 4 Americans on the roster. So if you're watching the Milano Seamen or the Barcelona Dragons or whatever, that team is 90% made up of people from that region. So that's what makes it so fun and fascinating. So we're truly seeing the game grow globally, what we thought we was going to see back in 91.
Oh, that's awesome. Very, very cool stuff. I have to check it out. I haven't checked out too much of it quite yet. I am a New York Giants fan. I'm getting the New York Giants team preview out of the way, doing it a little bit early, but I think this might be a positive conversation. I think there's things to like about this New York Giants team. It's been a while since we've seen a roster that has any depth at all. They've been anemic for quite a long time on this team. You've been to OTAs though, correct? Like, what has stood out since, you've been following this preseason?
Well, just the fact that you now get to see truly how talented the receivers are. Because you have guys like Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston that can push the ball vertically downfield, you kind of forgot how good a Jalin Hyatt is or a Darius Slayton is or some of these other guys that they have. And so with those quarterbacks being able to push the ball vertically, that's going to alleviate a lot of the pressure on the run game. So the offense will be significantly better. And then on defense, you just see the athleticism within the front seven. And when you combine both of those things, that's why I said before, one, this is the best roster Daboll has had. And two, the Giants won't be, you should look at the schedule and say, oh, okay, that's an easy win for the other team, or this is a loss for the Giants. I will say this, case in point. This time last year, I'm at OTAs, I'm at rookie minicamp and regular minicamp, and I'm, going into training camp. Like the first week of training camp, I was asked, well, what do you think this team is going to do? I was like, well, they won't win no more than 3 games. It was like, whoa, what you got 3? I'm like, yeah. I was like, find me the game where
Mhm.
they're going to have the better quarterback
Yeah.
than the other team. And lo
Mhm.
and behold, they barely won 3 games. And
Yeah.
so for me, it was looking at this team, I'm like, okay, this team clearly is going to be one that could be in contention for 8 or 9 wins based off
Mhm.
how they look on paper, obviously health permitting.
Yeah, I think a big thing, and I feel like this is the one thing I've been saying to a lot of people when they talk about the Giants, ask, oh, the Giants, it's not an easy game anymore, I don't think. Like, that's not an easy win. There's teams now, like, you can't circle that down as a W anymore, because I think with this defense specifically, now we're talking about a totally different ball game. And then on top of that, the quarterback room is probably one of the more notable changes that this team has made going into the next season too. So I don't think this is just an easy win anymore for a lot of teams. I think they're going to catch some teams off guard. I think they're going to be a very good ATS team this year, because Vegas is probably not going to respect them as maybe they shouldn't from last year. Let's talk about that defensive front seven. Who benefits the most from Abdul? And like, will we see, like, are they going to get more creative, like with a Kayvon, or how do you see that playing out?
I think who benefits the most is the secondary, because you're going to have all of this pass rush.
Yeah.
You have Dexter Lawrence on the inside. If he's healthy, Darius Alexander is going to be a dude. So
Yeah.
that's another D lineman you have on the inside. Then you have Kayvon and Burns and
Mhm.
Abdul. And what makes Abdul so special and unique is the fact that he can line up anywhere within the
Mhm.
front seven. So, case in point, rewind back to when we were talking about Micah Parsons coming out of Penn
Yeah.
State, and people forget he didn't play that his final season because he sat
Mhm.
out that year. Jamar Chase did that before too. So people forget Parsons sat out. So the last time we saw Michael Parsons play college football, he was playing inside linebacker.
Right. Yeah.
So watching him play on the edge as a rookie was like, whoa, we never saw this.
Right.
But with Abdul Carter, we saw
Yeah.
him play both. So it's an easier projection. And because he has the experience playing inside linebacker,
Yeah.
in addition to going out and rushing the passer, it won't be awkward for him to be an inside backer and thus having Kayvon and Burns still at their edge rusher position. So by him being versatile, it opens the door for the Giants to be so
Yeah.
dangerous within their front seven and how they deploy their pass rush.
Absolutely. And they made the upgrades alone at the secondary. That's a spot on this roster that's been a serious problem. And they brought in Holland, Adebo. It is. Who do you think makes the biggest jump on the defense this year?
I think we'll still have to wait to see that, right? Because
Yeah.
although Holland is a fantastic player, Adebo, you hope, comes back healthy and
Mhm.
play like he played in New Orleans
Right.
pre-injury, right? And we also know that we have, Banks does a great job of playing opposite to someone that can take some of that
Yes.
pressure away, right?
Yeah.
The question I have and the concerns I want to see, I have going into training camp, and I want to see if they can
Mhm.
answer some of those questions, is depth. Because you have Drew
Yeah.
Phillips, so you have a strong starting quartet,
Mhm.
right? But it's the depth behind those guys is where you're going to
Yeah.
have to see who steps up. And we won't know that until they put the pads on, until we start to see these guys match up. Maybe Cordell Flock can stay healthy for a full season. Now you
Mhm.
feel confident about him
Mhm.
being that guy next up. So I worry about the depth defensively.
Mhm.
And because you're worrying about depth on the defensive side of the ball, you look at the back end of the schedule, that's where your depth
Yeah.
really steps up and helps you save your season or win some games, some
Yeah.
tight games. I'm not worried about the front end. I'm worried about the back end. And that's where we're going to have to find out if the Giants have the depth to really go through the schedule as opposed
Yeah.
to starting off great and fading
Right.
late.
Which is, we've seen them do that though the last couple of years. There's games where you see some spark in this team, and then one injury goes, Dexter Lawrence goes down, Andrew Thomas goes down, and then it just crumbles, right? And then I mean, especially the quarterback room, like I was saying, like they're obviously this is the maybe other fans of other teams want to laugh and make fun. This is the best quarterback room that we have looked at in a very long time, and it's going to look truly different because we also didn't have the depth. So when someone went down, you are turning to a Tommy DeVito who, okay, you get one spike game out of, but that's not like the true depth you need to be able to compete in the National Football League. So looking at this, the quarterbacks alone, when is the right time to start? I think was Dart what your QB7? Is that
QB7 or something like
that?
that?
Somewhere around. Like when is the right time to start him? Is it after bye week? Do we see Russ full season? Talk to me about the quarterback room a little bit.
2026 is the best time to start Dart.
Yeah.
And I've said this before, and I'm gonna stay on this foundation because you don't usually get as a coach a chance to win games and develop your young quarterback.
Yeah.
Usually it's merging, right? You gotta, especially if you draft one in the first round, you throw a guy out there and you're kind of hoping to win games while you're trying to develop him.
Yeah.
It may work out, it may not work out. But rarely do you get that Kansas City Chiefs situation like with Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes of a guy you know is going to be your future, but you're winning games with the current guy. Because remember, the Chiefs weren't picking in the top 3 to get Patrick Mahomes that trade up. So they were a good football team. The Giants saved themselves from that issue by getting Russell Wilson and getting Jameis Winston. So therefore, when you draft the Jackson Dart, who still is coming out that Lane Kiffin offense, and we see what that looked like with Matt Corral, who had his struggles in the NFL, had his struggles in a UFL because he hadn't been acclimated to a pro-style offense. So now with the Jackson Dart coming out that same offense, you have the ability to break him out of that system, work him back up from the ground up. And so he has a full year to digest everything that's going on. You can get him acclimated to the pro game and your offense. So therefore, next year, he's ready to go and ready to, hit the ground with a high floor as opposed to throwing him out there in the mix. So I'm saying all that to say, don't throw him out there this year. There's no reason to, because even if Russ plays pedestrian, the story no one's talking about is, and this is just from being out there at mini camp, Jameis has and we know this is like a dub, but Jameis does have a significantly stronger arm. But when you notice it is when the deep ball happens. So let's say, for instance, it was one day, the last day of mini OTA. I was out there and we were standing on the patio and they're working deep down the field. And Russ goes up first and he's throwing a deep ball. You see the receiver go underneath it, but then have to slightly turn and wait for it to come down. Jameis is next up. He throws a deep ball. The receiver runs through the ball into the end zone, right? So then Russ comes back up and you can see Russ trying to put a little bit more.
He's like, I can do this.
Right. So he's almost already in his head, like, man, I see this dude's arm. Like a lot of conversation about Jameis is about his personality, but people forget he's a fantastic football player. But the problem is you gotta, and we won't know this until games get played. Can you kind of corral him in a little bit and not make a big mistake in crucial time? I don't mind you throwing interceptions, is when you throw the picks.
Yeah. We're used to interceptions anyways. So
interceptions are going to come and go, right? And so it's when you throw the pick. And I think that's where you don't know what Jameis you're going to get, but just in sheer arm talent, this quarterback room reminds me of the quarterback room the Giants had when they had Eli and Geno Smith and also Josh Johnson for that one spring. And then I think they drafted Davis Webb that year, but because they brought in Josh Johnson, it was Josh Johnson going at it to be the backup. This room looks like that room where you have a guy and you have a solid backup and you have someone you're trying to work behind the scenes.
Which we haven't seen obviously since quite literally then. It's been kind of a mess in that quarter. It's been a mess. And then you don't know what you're going to get. So it's kind of throwing someone out there and seeing what happens. Who was playing Boyle last year? There are so many teams that would not even roster some of the guys that this New York Giants team has rostered. I think a lot of this also comes back to, and this has been one of the Giants' biggest problems, the O-line has been their Achilles heel. They just can't quite get it right. I know they're moving Evan Neal over. Andrew Thomas has to stay healthy. Do you think with the moves that they've made, which isn't a ton, how is this Giants O-line going to look?
I've said this since Ben, and this is what happens when you have a bad quarterback and people don't want to blame the one person that's responsible. They will start from left tackle to right tackle to tight end to fullback to running back to receiver before they blame the dude responsible for the quarterback, right? And you notice when the backup quarterback got in the ball game for the Giants, whether it was 2023 or last season, you barely heard anything about the offensive line, right? because
Mhm.
the quarterback was getting the ball out on time, or the quarterback was decided to take off and run. You heard less about the offensive line when
Mhm.
other guys are back there. It's the same old line, right? So
Mhm.
the offensive line is actually going to be a strength for the Giants because you have both of these quarterbacks that threaten with their legs or their ability to buy time within the pocket, and also their ability with the deep ball. Because now, let's say if you have Russell Wilson, you know Russell quickly can identify the one-on-one matchup, and if you
Mhm.
want to get aggressive and try to get an extra guy in the box, is going deep down the field to one of these fast guys that can run.
Yeah.
Jameis, you already know, works touchdown to check down.
Yeah.
Like, so don't even show him single high. And
Yeah.
so, because of that, now you're going to open up the run game, and the O line gets into a groove when they're running the foot, when they're run
Yeah.
blocking, and get into that whole physicality groove, as opposed to having to drop back with a quarterback that has deer in headlights versus pressure. You don't have that with these guys.
Right.
With the two veterans, and I think that's going to make the offensive line look significantly better. And in fact, this offensive line is going to be at its deepest that it has been in quite some time because of that.
Yeah, absolutely. You bring up the run game. They added Scattaboo, who is, I think, a fan favorite too. A lot of you watch him in the play. He's very easy to like. It's not surprising that people like him. I think it's taking away a little bit from how fantastic Tracy fits into just like this and like this offense as a whole. How is that backfield going to work with the two of them, in your opinion?
Well, you get a guy in Tracy, who's still getting acclimated to playing
Yeah.
running back full time. Obviously, we all know the
Right.
story, former
Mhm.
receiver turned running back. But now with a guy in Cam Scattaboo, when it gets later in the ball game, he can be your closer, your
Yeah.
finisher, your 4-minute offense guy. Plus, Tracy put the ball on the ground a lot, and so you
Yeah.
can't put the ball on the turf as a running back. That's a no, right? And so ball security is going to be key. But now the Giants can feel confident in going to a Cam Scatabo and allowing him to be, the 1B or 1A to the 1B or
Mhm.
whatever. Him and Tracy going to form a nice tandem. And then it also allows you to work everybody else in concert to where they best fit. Some guys are best in terms of being the spot players, like your
Yeah.
Eric Grays or your Dante Millers.
Yeah.
Those guys can come in and be spot players. Or because you have the Scatabo and the Tyrone Tracy, who's also a fantastic receiver, it now allows you to be a little bit more creative in how you use a Wandale Robinson, who was one of the top high school running backs
Yeah.
coming out of high school and played the
Crazy.
running back at Nebraska before playing receiver at Kentucky. So now you can get a little bit more creative in how you deploy your personnel, which is why, like I've said, I've been very high on what I've seen on paper and creatively from the Giants so far this spring.
And it's something that we've seen under, since Joe Shane and Daboll came over. They like guys that have versatility. Like that's something that has just been an absolute theme with anyone that they've drafted. Like you can see that they're looking to get the most out of their players. Maybe it hasn't translated as well as they hoped, but that is something that they desire. Talking about the second year guys, there's one guy that stands out to me. I think I'm excited to see how that draft class evolves. And I think Theo Johnson is a name that maybe needs to get looked at a little bit more. Where can Theo Johnson fit as far as targets go this year?
It's going to be interesting because, well, we know historically Russ was working the tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
Jameis, if he's the starter, Jameis is going to the open guy is going to get the football.
Yeah.
He really has no favorite target, right? Every receiver is going to have their best opportunity. If you get open first, you're getting the ball. Similar at times with Russell Wilson, but he does do a fantastic job of getting the ball to the tight end. If healthy, Theo Johnson gives you some flexibility because he's such a versatile athlete. He can run routes. He could be your big slot receiver, allow you to get
Mm-hmm.
another tight end on the field, and kind of get creative with your personnel. So for me, I feel like this is someone that, because they have so many weapons now based on the depth they have at quarterback,
Yeah.
it's Malik Nabers is obviously going to be your one
Right.
and going to garner the most targets. But in terms of trying to figure out who's going to be number two, that's a scary situation because
Yeah.
there's no person that you can say, okay, this is the second option. Maybe it's Darius Slayton.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's Theo Johnson. Maybe it's Tyrone Tracy. Maybe it's Wandale Robinson. We saw him
Yeah.
be a valuable, player underneath. mostly by necessity, but not necessarily because of scheme. So to answer your question, it's going to be tough to find out who's going to be the consistent second target for the Giants because we know who's number one.
Yeah, I think you'd probably drive yourself crazy trying to figure that out right now. And Jalin Hyatt comes up a lot now. He's put on whatever they say, almost 20 pounds. It's a whole everyone wants the Jalin Hyatt thing to happen. We'll see how it goes. Is he like the sleeper wide receiver here? Is there another one that you've seen that's kind of like standing out to you?
He's definitely a sleeper wide receiver.
Okay.
It reminds me a lot of Sean Payton in New Orleans when he had DeMarcus Coulson as the number one guy, and had the Jimmy Graham as the 1B option. But the guy that was burning people every week was either Devery Henderson or Robert Meacham, who is the Jalin Hyatt in this situation. Like, you can game plan for, okay, we got to stop Malik Nabers. Hey, we got to make sure we bracket cover Slayton. Don't let him get deep down the field. And then every week Hyatt has, 2 catches, 65 yards and a touchdown, right? Because like, man, how does this do? Like, so that's where Hyatt is the wild card in this situation, because he is someone that hadn't been, matter of fact, and it's not like we hadn't seen it done already. When I think this was 2023, when Tyrod Taylor got in the ball game, first thing he did was go deep to Hyatt. Why? Because that's what Hyatt does. He gets open, and that's what Tyrod does, goes deep down the field. So why wouldn't I expect Hyatt to have that type of success with these two quarterbacks that have the deep ball as a strength? So definitely the wild card there. He's probably, I guess if I'm using the fantasy football term properly, best ball. He would probably be one of those best ball candidates, because he's not going to be your consistent 75 catches for 950 yards and 8 touchdowns. He may be a 35 catch guy, but damn near 9 touchdowns on the season because of his big playability.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get into some of like the betting lines before I start wrapping up here and letting you get out of here. Their win total, I believe opened at 4.5. It's at 5.5. That moved a little bit when Russ got signed. The over is at plus 120. They finished under their win total 2 straight years. They've actually gone over like, if we want to cherry pick this, 3 of the last 5 they've gone over. So it's there. Like, they kind of just have these seasons where they win games that they probably shouldn't win. 6 of the last 10 they've gone over. I do think they get over this number. I know I shouldn't. I'm biased. I am a Giants fan. But when the Giants have little expectation, this is when they end up exceeding that.
There's 2 bets that I like in regards to that. 5.5 is what, minus 120?
Yeah.
So I would either play it up to 6.5 and play that at plus money. And also play an exact win total. The Giants can win 7 games. So that way you can kind of get more bang for your buck, because they're definitely going to go over 5.5.
Yeah.
So I would say try to find a value with 6.5, and also try to pick an exact win total. 7 is a good number. I think they go 7 and 10. I can even see 8 and 9. That's something that's going to have to break on the back end of the schedule. If they prove to have good depth, then they'll win one of those games on the back end. But I would say that win total 5.5 is that's an easy over for me.
Yeah.
But 6.5, better value, and I think they go over that number because I do think they win 7 games.
Yeah, and I think a big thing last year too was they were 0-6 in the division. And I granted, I know that the division has also has improved. The NFC East is fantastic now. And I think the Giants are also improving their roster, but that is a little bit unheard of for this team. A lot of these games came down to the wire. I know the schedule is very hard. I got it. That's what everyone's going to say. There's no way. Show me 6. Show me. I hear everyone, but I think also the defense is going to keep them in games. And then now the difference is, the last couple of years, we haven't had the quarterback play to be able to score points to keep up with the defense, getting them off. Like, they are now going to be able to at least stay in it. So now if we see a couple touchdowns finally, I don't think people realize, if you're not a Giants fan, they don't score a lot of points these last couple of years. So if they can score some points, now we're back in games. Now we're, backdoor cover. Like, you're seeing them maybe win a couple of these games. Daboll is 8-24 straight up as an underdog. We're giving him his best roster that he's had. Let's see something out of it. Moving to the division, Giants are 30. It's not shocking. They're fourth. 30-1 to win this division. They haven't won the division since they won the Super Bowl in 2011. It's not shocking at all. Their best finish was back in 2020 when they won 6 games. That was a Sudfeld game against the Eagles that they ended up losing. As far as this division goes, I guess the Eagles are the favorite. Not shocking either. Commanders plus 205, Dallas plus 600. Are any of those teams, other than the Eagles, since no one repeats in the NFC East, did either of those teams interest you, the Commanders or the Dallas?
No, what has me skeptical about the other teams in regards to catching the Eagles is the Eagles have the best depth on offense and defense. So therefore, they can kind of absorb an injury or two and still be strong.
Yeah.
I don't see that right now for Washington on defense. And Dallas defensively, especially within their run game, have they gotten better in stopping the run? And so they need all hands on deck there. And their secondary on paper looks good, but you have guys that are coming back from ACL tears. How good can they be on the back end? And so the Eagles by far and away will win this division. I think the one thing that I think the Cowboys are going to be better than what they were last year. Obviously,
I do too.
I feel like this is something that can yield 3 teams out the East getting to the postseason.
Okay.
I can see Dallas closing the gap with Washington.
Yeah.
But I will also say this: I've been on this play for like the last couple of weeks. Probably last month. The first game of the season for the Giants is Washington. I like the Giants straight up to win that game. So I like them on the money line. Right now, I saw the spread is -7.
Yeah.
So
that seems ridiculous a little bit.
The last time, I don't know why it happens this way, but when they go to Washington, they tend to play them really well.
Yeah.
They match up well. Washington beat them last year in Washington by kicking like 48 field goals. They didn't get into the end zone. But
CBS was what? It was. I think it was 5. It was like 5 field goals or
it was
something.
Crazy. It was like 7 field goals. They beat them like
the first time in NFL history.
Right. So for me, I think that game, because Washington's offensive line is being rebuilt. Yeah. You get Tunzel, you have Connolly, but you still got to see how it's going to play out. I think that's a game where the Giants can catch them. So week 1, there's always an upset. I like the Giants in that game against Washington on the money line, but definitely taking them at +7.
Yeah, I normally don't bet on the Giants. It just makes Sundays a little bit more fun. But I did bet that +7 because I do think that that's something we're going to see that game. Everyone's going to be on the other side. Commanders are going to be the survivor pick that week, and they're going to blow it for everyone. And then people will probably get in on the Giants, and then they'll disappoint, and then this is how it goes. I'm kind of used to it. The only player lines that are kind of worth looking at is basically everything Nabers. His offensive player of the year is 35-1. Most receiving yards. I kind of like him to lead the league in receiving yards. I think there is a path to that at 12-1. As far as his touchdowns, sitting at 7.5, and his receiving yards is sitting at like 1,100.5. Do any of those numbers interest you in regards to Malik Nabers?
I like him going over that touchdown number.
Yeah, me too.
Honestly, I can see him going over both touchdowns and receiving yards. Yeah. I think he's a 1,200-yard receiver with these quarterbacks and an 8 to 9 touchdown reception guy. So definitely over on both. If they're not juiced too heavily, go over both of those plays.
Yeah, I went and I just bet the all 9.5 touchdowns. I just don't think that's. I don't know. And maybe I'm a little bit too optimistic about it, but he's also a talent that's a little bit different. And I don't think that's asking a lot out of him to get, 10 receiving touchdowns next year. What's the final record prediction for the New York Giants?
7-10. I think they are able to get 7 wins. I worry about the depth. I think we'll see the Giants get off to like a solid start. They could be probably like 6-5 by week 11 or whatever. And then the bottom fall out because of the back end of the schedule
Yeah.
and the lack of depth and guys it's a war of attrition. So I can see them finishing 7-10.
Love it. Okay. How does the division finish if you were to predict it
Oh,
now?
Philly, Washington,
Okay.
Dallas, and then the Giants.
Yeah. That's okay.
Now,
It's all
now
right. It's a good thing. There's a lot to be optimistic about here.
you can easily sway me on Dallas finishing second based
Yeah.
on, but I need to see what that defense looks like health wise before I trust them to beat Washington. They're talented because they got a great quarterback, got good offensive weapons, but they couldn't stop anybody. And I
Their
think that's
running
gonna be
room,
the big.
like their running back room makes me a little bit nervous for them. I feel like when we've seen Dallas be really be a very tough team to compete with, they usually have a strong running game. And that area seems a little, I don't know what's going on over there.
Who's going to be the back is the key. They rebuilt
Right.
their offensive line, but who's going to be the back and can they stop
Right.
the run is going to be the question.
Next year's breakout candidate for the New York Giants for you.
Next year's, this
Mhm.
season's.
This season, yes. I keep
Oh,
doing
okay.
that.
I would probably say Evan Neal. The Giants do a
Really?
fantastic job of getting rid of their players a little bit too early because of public pressure. We saw it with Saquon, we saw it with Odell, we
Yeah.
saw it with Eric Flowers, and all those guys went somewhere else and played really well, right?
Yeah.
I think moving Neal to guard, you're going to get the best version of Evan Neal, who's healthy, playing inside. Quarterback's going to get rid of football, and I think Neal is going to look like the top 5 pick he was when he was drafted.
I sure hope so, because it hasn't been that pretty for Evan Neal. I would love to see him get back into the good graces of fans because he does not have it easy out there on the Twitter streets. Give me a Super Bowl prediction, and then I'll let you get out of here.
Eagles, Ravens. I said that
I'm
last
big
year.
Ravens.
We got close last year. Eagles, Ravens. I think the Eagles are the best team in the NFC. It'll be a dog fight between a lot of teams in the NFC that
Yeah.
got significantly better. AFC side, same thing. The league got better in the offseason, completely honest. But Baltimore and also Philly, I feel like just match the physicality that I like to see. And they both have quarterbacks that kind of can lock in. Lamar has to show it that he can lock in a little bit better and
Yeah.
not press too much in the postseason. I think he'll let the game come to him and they'll finally kick down that door and they'll
Yeah.
face the Eagles on the other side.
It's time. I'd love to see the Ravens win. Like I want that for Lamar so badly. You are fantastic. Let people know what you're working on right now, where they can find you. Hopefully we can get you on here soon again.
Follow me on Twitter at FBall Game Plan, Football Game Plan on Instagram, and you can still pick up the 2025 draft guide.
Yes.
Right now, it's now turned from a draft guide to a preseason guide. We have over 1,000 individual scouting reports. So when you're watching these preseason games, trying to figure out who the hell this guy is or what school, pretty sure I got a scout report on him.
I love it.
So you could go and get that at footballgameplan.com/2025 draft guide, full color PDF. And if you purchased my draft guide since 2020, right now you would have over 5,400 individual scouting reports at your fingertips.
Yes, and that's something I've purchased for years. Everyone needs to go check it out. Emory Hunt, you are fantastic. Go follow him. I will get you back on soon. I appreciate your time.
Appreciate you for having me on. Always good to see you.
You're fantastic. Thank you. We're brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including the MLB, WNBA, golf, and of course, football futures. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations, easy deposit, and lightning fast payouts. I'm obviously going to give you some golf bets because that's just how we roll on this show. Finau to be the first round leader at 45-1 over there on mybookie.ag. I also like Davis Thompson, crybaby Davis, as I like to call him, over Grazerman -109, and then top Canadian Adam Hadwin +192. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SMALLS for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag. Promo code SMALLS. I talk about Circa nonstop. You guys know I love Circa. I just booked my next trip to Circa for contest weekend. You can also get a trip to Circa. They are having a contest, the Ultimate Fantasy Football Draft Experience. You're able to host your draft at Stadium Swim in a cabana. It's where I hold my draft. It's for a 12-person league. The entire time you get treated like VIPs. Derek takes care of you here. There's a legacy club welcome party. Have to get espresso martinis. $5,000 tab for Stadium Swim and a hotel stay for you and your 11 league mates. Last chance to enter the Circa Ultimate Fantasy Football giveaway. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. Underdog Best Ball Mania is happening all summer long, giving away $15 million in prizes, including $2 million to first place. No waiver wire, no arguments about trades, which is a nightmare. Kind of regretting doing a dynasty startup because everyone's already annoying the shit out of me. Best ball is the best way to play fantasy football. We're going to get Kramer on, I think it's next week, 2 weeks from now, and do a full underdog best ball draft. So now is a good time to get in. I do have a pick-em entry for you. It's 19.24x your monies, Morikawa and Balmaki. Finishing position better than 10.5. So sign up with Smalls to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code Smalls. And our favorite dad of all the dads, finally getting him on here. I hope he's backstage. I assume he's backstage. He is backstage.
I'm here.
There he is, Nicky the Good.
Hi. I got a lot going on here.
You have a lot going on. How was Father's Day? Talk to me.
I mean, Father's Day, my 40th birthday was the day
Congratulations.
before. Thank you. I made it, right? 40th birthday on that Saturday, and then Father's Day was on Sunday. And then I was supposed 2 times I had to reschedule because of I'm a dad. So like I had to do the responsibilities. I have a 6-year-old directly to my right who may make an appearance because she's adamant. And then my son's upstairs causing a ruckus. So, but I made it. I'm happy to be here. The football episode. I mean, you guys. You guys are diving straight in. I mean, I'm all Metsy. You know me. I'm a baseball guy right now, but I'll talk some Giants.
You know what the thing is like I'm doing these team previews, and I needed someone much smart. I need people smarter and more like tamed than me to come. And I needed to get this episode out of the fucking way.
That's right.
I get too emotional and we get a little bit too close to the seat. So now it's like, let's just talk about it while I'm still a little level-headed before I start being out of control. So I had to get it out of the way. I'm glad I did. We're going to basically go through the listener questions that I got about the Giants. I don't even know what they said. I actually have to pull them up because I did not write them down. So I'm excited to do this with you. But first, did you see I ranked the days of the week?
No, I didn't. I haven't thought about days of the week, but yeah, okay. I'll listen to you. Mm-hmm. What do you got?
No, I want to hear your rankings.
Now,
should I tell you mine? I can tell you mine.
Tell me yours first.
Okay, so we start with Sunday always, and maybe I don't know. I feel like I love Sunday. It's the best day of the week. Calories don't count. Usually good sports on. You just get to chill. I like Sundays. After Sunday, you get Friday. I like Friday as well. Thursday, this is where we're getting a little mad at me. And then Saturday. Saturday is kind of, you're looking ahead. You don't have another day ahead of, I don't know. I don't really vibe with Saturday that much. Then we go to Wednesday, then Monday, then Tuesday. I hate Tuesday. Tuesday sucks.
Okay. So to me, the weekday changes as your life changes. So my easiest, most relaxing time is is literally the work week. The work week is a vacation. Sunday's pure hell. Saturday's pure hell. Okay. You're basically just like you're at gymnastics. You're at t-ball. You don't do anything for yourself, but you monitor everything through your phone. Okay. So, before I had children, Sunday was like the best. I would go to the diner at like 8:00 in the morning by myself. My wife would go to like a studio or something like that, like a studio class, like do some, cycle studio, back to the 90s themed, whatever. Yeah. And then I would go to the diner and I would read the paper, not my phone. I'd read the paper from front to finish. And then that's it. And then I would just roll into like 1:00. Yeah. With football, but that just doesn't exist anymore. So you're up at 6:30 and then you're just like, it's just you just get through the day. So if I had to rank it right now, I'm a huge Thursday guy. Big time
I do go. I
Thursday
think
guy.
Thursday. That's the one where I think I maybe misplaced. Like it could go higher on my list.
I like Thursday because it's a drink day, so you're cool to drink. Like it's like, if you want to go out, you can. If you want to have a cocktail in your house, you can.
it.
Sports are typically, on. If it's, you could have Thursday night baseball, you could have football. There's a lot going on.
Golf
Thursday.
starts.
The next day. Well, the golf starts whenever golf is the weekends, right?
Exactly.
I follow. And then we also have Friday, where most of the people that have jobs are kind of checked out. So like, you got Summer Fridays rolling up. You got people that are just not as like, oh my God, we're in the work week type thing. It's like we all take a collective like agreement, like, hey, it's over. Like everyone just relax and chill out. So, but it's still the work day. So I know that I have time to myself to think in my own brain. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something about why do I hate Saturday? I think this is as I'm getting like in my haggard age now. Saturdays are just not as fun anymore. And now I'm like I'm in the stage now where I don't. Please do not fucking invite me to go to the bar. No, thank you. But I will day drink if you want to do some type of day drinking event. I will do that. But Saturday night I want to be home.
You also like your job. You also like your job, though, right? So, like, you're actually looking to make content, right? So, like, you probably maybe something happens in the beginning of the day with sports, and you're like, I actually can't wait to rip a video or rip a clip or something like that. And that's where your brain starts to go, rather than like, let me go to the saloon and then just get hammered, and then I feel like terrible the next day.
I feel like anytime I go out to a bar, I like definitely recognize how like old I am now.
Trust me.
Wow. I'm like, this is holy shit. You guys are all in crop tops and wearing the same outfit. What the fuck is going on?
I think I have a decade on you. So like in my mind, it's like you have it's just completely.
I can't even imagine.
Now. So but Thursday is my favorite. And then really it's all interchangeable. But the weekends right now, if you got young kids, like it's a fucking grind, man. It's an absolute grind. But as they get older, I think I'll reclaim the weekends back and enjoy.
I was gonna say, do you get them back at some point? How does that work?
I think kids get older, more independent when they can.
They also don't want to hang out. They don't want to be around you.
Yeah, when they can wipe their own ass, you're good. Yeah. When they can actually physically wipe their own asses, I think you're in the clear.
Okay. All right. Let's get into some of these Giants questions.
Yeah, sure. Let's
the New York Giants. Where do we start? How many weeks till some embarrassing story about Russ doing something cringe breaks the news? Doesn't that happen every week already?
I think we're gonna get it like week one. Like I don't think the media is gonna wait for anything.
I'm already cringing.
Yeah, like he's just gonna say things because you remember, like every time he talks like he's in a movie. Like he talks like someone wrote a script for him. So I guarantee.
Schizophrenia?
What?
Is he schizophrenic? Like this guy has so many fucking personalities. I don't understand.
I'm telling you, like, I think he's intelligent enough where like, he like thinks about what he wants to say before the game even takes place. So it's like, if I make a great play, I'm going to say this and I'm going to quote this movie or whatever. If I play bad, I'm going to quote, maybe the Bible and say something. And then something will happen where he'll just, no matter what, he will just throw that in there. And that's where the New York media is going to jump all over this dude. Like anything he says is going to be back page and just, he's going to become a meme by week 3. By week 3, you're going to be full-fledged Russ memes for sure.
Do you think he practices like his like speeches in front of Sierra?
100, not in front of her, but like he's definitely someone who goes to the gym and like envisions what he's going to say, what he's going to do, what stance he's going to do. Like, there's people like that. And he's definitely of that ilk. And I'm all for it because I think the Giants win, you prior guess, I think they win about 6 or 7 games. They finished last in the division. And, it's all about just, building the team up. And I'm excited for this year. I'm excited to get those wins, actually. I don't want to win one game. I want to win some games and show some promise here.
I was saying too, as a Giants fan, we usually do our best when there is like literal, like the expectations are on the fucking ground as far as the Giants go. That's when you see these random 9 wins in a season from a team that everyone said was dog shit, which they're still not going to be. I'm not saying they're going to be good, but they are going to be competitive, and we haven't seen that in a while. Competitive in like a baseline National Football League.
Show me development amongst some players, win some games because you outplayed, the other team that may probably be better than you on paper. And that's all I need because you got Dart, you got, you got my man Scattaboo, You got some guys that you're excited to see play, and I think that's the narrative of the Giants this year.
Yeah.
I'm going to be excited every Sunday to see what these new crap of talent do, and Nabers in his year too, obviously.
Some of these questions are crazy. Top 3 X factors for the season. I think Nabers is the easy one there. Obviously.
Yeah, definitely Nabers is number 1 because he only scratched the surface last year with some weak ass quarterback play.
Yeah.
I think if Jameis gets in, that Nabers is gonna feast with like the chucking and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I do think a dual backfield is something to look at. Like if the Giants can establish Scattaboo and Tracy legit out of that backfield, that could be a problem for teams. And the Giants could win games through that. And then lastly, I mean, it's the defensive line. Like enough talk. You have to go in and wreck teams.
You have to.
You have to deliver. You can't. Carter needs to be Rookie of the Year. Like it has to happen.
Yeah, all of those high draft picks that were made need to show up. Like even like an Evan Neal or like a JMS at center. Like that, all that draft capital that we put into a lot of these guys, gonna have to start fucking seeing it. Like because even like Deontay Banks, that's another one. Like I need to start seeing what we paid for, like show up on the field.
I also think like it's the culture, like it's contagious to win. Like if you play hard and you're competitive in games, I think I'm hopeful that those guys will level up their game. It's really tough to play a sport. I don't care how much you're getting paid. If you're just getting your ass kicked every week and you're the mockery of the NFL, like I can't imagine it's easy to put your life on the line and throw yourself into other like moving targets all the time.
Yeah.
So, I just think they need if they're competitive and start building culture and start winning some tough games, especially early on, if they could sneak a few in the first 5 games, a tough schedule, like that's where maybe we can see some development and have a nice season to enjoy.
I just want to see them like play games that are at least a little bit enjoyable.
Get me to the second half. Like, just get me to the second half of a game where, like, I care about when kickoff is.
Right.
Where, like, I don't care if I tune in and we're, it's already third down. Like, get me to that, and then that's when, like, I'll start firing in my brain, like, okay, like, the Giants are somewhat back. We may be on a path here to some semblance of, like, relevancy.
Yeah. This one's from Vic. How many games do we lose before starting Dart?
To start Dart, I feel like we legit need to. Well, that's so tough because I do think Jameis gets the call if Rush struggles. Like I don't think they're gonna put. Like I don't think because if they signed Jameis, if they just put Dart in right away, you're gonna start being like, again, we're incompetent. Like whether it's the right move or not. And some narrative will be out there that they're incompetent and that, why did you even get this guy? Who's building this team?
Yeah.
If you thought that you potentially would trade up for this guy, it takes a lot. I don't think it's till the end of the season. Like, I think week 10.
He's also like a security blanket for Daboll to keep his job. So it's
that's the thing.
The later you start him, that's like that's where I first see that going. But
even if he starts week 10 and he loses out, like God forbid it's over. Like there is no like you're done. So it's probably best if I'm them, I don't want to start him at all. Like
okay, so I've seen the script. I know it's gonna happen. Okay,
tell me what is
we play Denver like week. I don't know. Someone can look it up. I don't have it in front of me. I think week 6, somewhere around there. I think we get our asses handed to us in that game. I think Russ fakes an injury because he's embarrassed and he pretends that there was an injury that was the reason why he loses that game. Then Jameis comes in. Our bye week is like week 15, and then I think we see Dart after that because everyone's had enough out of Winston.
Yeah, you know what? If you want to end the season on a good note, you just end with Dart, and that's it.
Right.
And you'll kind of get the same feeling as we did with he who shall not be named won that when he came back and won the game against the Bucks in his what was that, his second game, I think, or that was his first game.
Yeah, it was his first game.
Yeah, like when he won that game, it's like if the season ended there, you would legitimately feel like you had a franchise quarterback. I think that's the feeling that you need to end this season with, regardless of the record. If Jackson Dart finishes, I don't care if it's week 17 and the other team is laying down and taking an L. If Jackson Dart starts that game and he lights it up, and he closes out, the Giant fans will show up the next year with a level of optimism, and Daboll and Shane will keep their gigs.
Yeah, people want to knock Shane, and I stay quiet about it, but I think I see Joe Shane's vision. I think that he's made a lot of good decisions, and I know he's made some bad decisions, and that's fine. But I think that what he is doing and what he's, even like looking at the Dexter Lawrence contract, looking at the Andrew Thomas contract, like he's made some decisions that are very impressive. Also, he walked into a shit storm too from Dave Gettleman, who I want to throw up even saying his name. So I think he's done he's going to make some mistakes. Every GM is going to make mistakes. I think he's done remotely the best he probably could with what he was handed.
I mean, we know what he was handed. He was handed the worst quarterback situation in the history of mankind. That guy was dry paint. I don't want to say his name. I'm not even going to give him.
We don't need to say it.
We don't need to say it, and we're not going to say it because we're done with it. But that move put us in a predicament where we had to wait an additional however many years to figure this shit out. Yeah. But now we're beyond it. It's very much like the Mets. Like the Mets is like Cohen bought the team, right? But it still took a little bit of time to get rid of that Wilpon funk. We're getting rid of the Gettleman funk. And you need to get rid of that funk.
The stench.
Yes, that stench.
Stinky caca.
Yes.
Poo-poo.
It takes time to undo that. So you got to give them at least that. And as long as they don't absolutely shit the bed this year, I think they're safe going into next year, and I'm okay with that. The division's too good to try and be like, yo, let's win this division.
Should I clip farm right now? I will. I don't think there is a fucking shot in hell either of them are gone next year. I fully believe, I think there is almost a 100% chance that Joe Sheen is back next year. I truly believe that.
I think you got a good point. The more I think about it, the more I think they'll be back. The more I think it would be just a catastrophic front office disaster going all the way up to the top. And where do you go from there again? What do you do? What message are you going to give to the Giants fan base if you do that? I don't know. You can't go anywhere after that. You have to give them next year. I completely agree with you.
And what he'll end up doing, that string bean biatch of a owner that we have, Mr. John Mara, what he will do is if he starts to really feel the pressure, he'll just fire Daboll, which is a fucking disaster because one of the things that we have failed to do is let a coach stay with the quarterback that they wanted. Right. But he will probably use Daboll first. I don't think he fires both of them.
Listen, I mean, I'm sick of searching for coaches at this time. I'm just sick of searching for coaches. At this point, it's you just need good players, man. At some point, you just need good. We haven't had good players for a very long time. We had the guy with the Eagles now who's killing it. We had a terrible quarterback. We had no receivers. I cannot believe Darius Slayton is still on this team. I don't care if he's a serviceable guy. I don't care if he's a locker room guy, whatever they say. I cannot believe he is on this team again. I cannot believe it, but I'm okay with it. He's not the priority. Nabers is the dude, and everyone else is behind him, and that's just it. And then is he still on the roster? This guy, I know you said.
Why though? Why is he? I don't understand. Why the fuck am I seeing clips of? Why are they asking him what his relation? Why is he even getting interviewed? I don't understand.
You got to sell tickets. You got to sell tickets. You got to sell tickets somehow. You need people.
Find another fucking way.
You got to sell jerseys. I got 3 of these.
Watching Love Island with Dart, we're fucked.
I mean, maybe he's what Dart needs in the locker room though. It could be one of those deals, kind of like how Juan Soto needs Starling Marte, right? That's his guy. You got your friend. Maybe that's his friend, and that's why he's there. I don't know why.
You should find another friend.
I still have no idea how he's on the team. I honestly.
How the fuck? I don't. I feel like this is just John Mara has to get his way somehow still, and this is the way is he's just on the roster.
He serves absolutely zero any purpose on this team.
There's no reason. It's a joke. It's for the memes.
It's for me. It's for me.
He serves no purpose.
It is for me. It is for me and me alone. I have to make good use. I have 3 of his jerseys. I rage bought them when he came on the scene. I had to get as many views as possible, so I rage bought three Tommy DeVito jerseys. Where were these jerseys purchased? Probably some David had a question. I don't know, David. I was in such a rush to get. I was so convinced they would be the #1 selling jersey in the NFL that I just gobbled them all up.
Yeah. You bought the only 3 out there.
It was probably, and guess what? I had to custom design all of them because they weren't printed any DeVito on the back. So I custom designed them all, probably paid priority shipping to get them to make videos with them. And, I may have lost, but, he did ruin our draft order that year. So that was good.
I think when he gets cut from the team, which if it doesn't happen, I don't know anything about this. Like I don't know even what to say. I think that will be the happiest I've been since we fired Jason Garrett. Like I swear to God, I'm going to be so happy.
The thing is, it could happen.
Equivalent to that day for me.
It could happen, but he'll be back. I'll figure out a way back. Like he'll be one of those guys they just bring back, and that's kind of what that's what will happen.
We'll do one more question here, and then I'll let you get out of here. Who are you? Well, this is 2 questions. So, who are you most excited for on both sides of the ball?
I mean, it is easily Cam Scattaboo. Like, he's a short white guy. Like, you could not have drafted a better guy for me to root for. I am all in on him. Just from like the personality, he obviously, I'm a big guy into if you have a little bit of internet cred, he wants to put up those pictures of himself, whatever. Like I'm all about it. Plus, I think he's a great player. And like, if you want to talk about actual culture of like playing the game the right way, what people think the Giants are, which we haven't been in like a decade. Like if you want to keep thinking we are the New York Football Giants, it might start with this guy. It might start with him, being, nose down and just like running some people over, making some big plays and getting the crowd fired up like Shaq.
Violence.
Yes, violence. Like run like Ahmad. Like run that way. You want to wear the number? Run that way.
Yes.
And on the defensive side, I mean this. I don't want to say Carter because obviously it's Carter.
Right.
But any defensive back that has a good year. Like I'll just say that. Like, can we just
please, for the love of fucking God.
Anyone who like week in and week out, whoever wants to step up on defense and just shut down like a receiver on the other end instead of just getting absolutely burned, I'm all for. So whoever ends up being that person, I don't know if you have a little idea of who that could be. That's what I'd like to see because I'm not worried about the defensive line. I'm really not. I really think it's just too talented. I think we're going to wreck some people. But, like, you need people to stop receivers. Like, and the Giants just can't afford to just continually get burned. Like, I have, Banks. I mean, we went through it when we had, back in the day with Apple. Like, we had just horror stories.
Oh, my God.
I don't want any more horror stories of these guys. Yeah. I don't want to bring it up. But, like, that's the type of stuff I want to avoid. So, if we can get away from that on defense, that's what I'd like to see. Because the Giants need that, too. If you want to compete, you need that.
We dealt with so much bullshit. Wow. It's been it was kind of traumatizing looking things over for this show. I think Nabers is like the easy answer. But I think as far as like looking at these like second year guys, I'm excited for Theo Johnson. I'm excited for the potential to have a nasty tight end again because we have not had good tight end play in a very
You think
long
he could be nasty though? You think he could be Yeah.
It's too big. I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I mean, we'll see. I mean, nothing's more exciting than when you have a great tight end. Like when you have an athletic tight end that can score touchdowns. I mean, there's just nothing better than that. So
I need good tight end play, and I think Tracy too. Like how they can utilize him now that they have Scat. What that looks like, that excites me quite a bit. And then on the defensive side, I mean, honestly, echoing what you said, I'm excited to see what Hollander or Debo does. Like I want to know those signings. I like the idea there. I think the defense looks fantastic on paper. Like there's a lot to like there. I feel like we look good on paper a lot on defense going into seasons, and then it's just this is the first time though that we've had like any
real NFL players.
Yeah, we've had like it's so crazy because really like the last couple of years, not even the last couple. Sorry, that's a lot of the past year, a decade. You name the amount of years. The players on our roster would not even be like name another fucking NFL team that would have Tommy DeVito on the roster.
That's what I'm saying. Like Tommy DeVito's not an NFL player, but somehow he's on a roster. Like you just need you need pros. You need pros to
Yeah.
games. Like you can't get by. It's can't hide anyone. If you hide, they will exploit you every single time. So that's it. I mean, Scattaboo by far is the guy that I'm honed in on. I'm going to grab him in fantasy too, just because I feel like it'd be fun week to week to root for. Tracy, I'm with you there because I feel like his expectations were going to be really high coming into this year, but now they could be tempered because of the presence of Scattaboo.
Yeah, everyone is like kind of out on him. Like I'm seeing like Scat go ahead of him in fantasy, and I get it. Shut the. You guys are over fucking reacting because Scat is such a like cool personality. And he's great. He's a great player. I'm excited too. I can't wait to see that backfield. But we don't need to be taking him over Tracy, in my opinion.
But, and if we win, Tracy needs to be successful. So
100%.
He has to. Like he can't have a regression year. He needs to take the lead into the next year.
Absolutely. All right. Let me know let people know where they can find you. I know how to find you.
Yeah, you can find me.
Get out of here.
Yeah, find me at Nicky the Good on Twitter, Nicky the Good on TikTok, and that's where I'm at. I'm all on the socials, but that's pretty much where I'm living right now, and then in my house.
Yeah.
With the kids.
Final call on the record for next year.
I'm gonna say 6 wins. We'll say 6 wins. 6 wins.
I'm with you there. I think it's 6 as well. All right. You're fantastic. Thanks for jumping on with me.
Bye, Steph. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. I think producer Ryan wanted to jump on for a hot sec, have a little yap session maybe. Is that it? Were we planning on that, Ryan?
Hell yeah. Here I am.
Hello. How's it going?
Hey. Good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. You know what sucks, Ryan?
So many things, but what are you thinking of?
You're right. A lot. Where should we start? No, unfortunately, I do this a lot. But
oh, wait. Your audio cut out.
Did I?
Oh, there it goes.
Okay. I'm touching things. I'm not used to this. Do I sound better? Can the chat tell me, do I sound any better than normal?
You sound better to me, I think.
Okay.
But don't stop touching the mic.
Okay, sorry. Anyways, what was I saying? What were we talking about? Now I lost my train of thought.
You said, you know what sucks, Ryan?
Oh,
I said so many things.
Like the optimism part of the preseason. So I think we should redo this preview towards the end and see where I'm at.
Yes, I'm totally down. Do you want to do the same guess or different guess?
A different one and see where I'm at.
Yeah, see where you're at. I like it.
See where I'm at because I'll probably be not in a better place.
This will be the only team that gets 2 previews on our show.
Yeah, that's it. No one else will get 2 previews, but I think that the Giants, we're going to have to do it to see. I need a temperature check going into the season because right now I'm maybe they do get 8-9 wins. Who the fuck knows? That's crazy. There's no fucking way that happens. All right.
There's probably not. Well, you had an interesting thing happen to you from explain it.
Oh, so does everyone remember last week when I gave my little tips and tricks of if you're out at a bar and don't want to be drinking whatever, the cranberry and Red Bull is the drink you go to. So if someone takes a sip, they don't think you're being soft, or it still tastes like alcohol, but there's no alcohol in it. And I was like, where did I get that from? I don't know who it is, but shout out whoever that was. Turns out it was my ex-boyfriend who saw my story. What did he reply? What did he say? I screenshot and said to you, you owe me commission for this or something.
Yeah, he said you owe me commission for this.
Yeah, no, we will not be sending you commission, sir. But thank you for the hot tip and drink.
It's not like we're getting sponsored by Red Bull. If we were getting sponsored by Red Bull, maybe we'd send them $5 or something.
Commission. That's all right. Pass.
Pass on that. So everybody knows I'm a bachelor.
Yeah.
And I got asked by a friend to, for charity, be in a bachelor auction.
You realize it's so crazy what we do nowadays, because I feel like that should be wrong.
Right. They would never auction off women, but
that would be fucking crazy.
That would be insane. But they will auction off guys, and I get it. But so I agreed to do this auction, and it was so awkward. I had to go up there with all the other guys. They kind of like parade us around like meat, you know, and like they would read my bio that I did not write. And so it was just very awkward. And then did I tell you how much I went for? Oh, wait, you cut out again. You cut out again. You cut out again. I don't hear you. I don't hear you. Okay, I'll keep telling the story for the chat who's listening. I went for $30. Only $30. That, you know, by the only person who went for less than I did was a literal little person. A little person went for $10, which is like pretty mean to him. I mean, that guy is putting himself out there. You would think it's a charity event. You would think a woman would take charity on him and bid more than $10 for a date. If nothing else, it's a great story. And I got $30, so I was the second lowest.
Oh no, can you hear me now?
Oh, I can hear you again.
Okay, I think I'm through my computer, so I'm not going to sound as pretty as I sounded. That's awful.
Yeah, Big Dash Nose just said, damn, $30. Yeah.
Wait, how much did like the highest person go for?
Like a couple $100.
No, fuck off. Really?
Yes. And so like, I'm gonna Trevor, why did I just show that one? I did not mean to show Trevor's comment on the screen.
Oh no.
I went for $30. So here's the thing. It's going to cost me, I have to pay for the date. So it's going to cost me more money to take her out on a date than she donated to the good cause. So I should have just skipped the whole thing, given the $60 or whatever I'm going to spend directly to the charity and not done the whole bachelor auction.
What's crazy is that's a good deal because she's basically getting like a $70 dinner and drinks for $30.
Yes. And thank you. Yes, the salt and pepper beard should have got me at least $100. I get a lot of compliments on it.
Wow.
Yeah. Steph, they even told everybody that I was an Emmy winner. And that didn't even
got $30.
And I only got $30.
People don't care anymore.
No, I feel like people in Wilmington don't even know what an Emmy is, maybe.
They probably can't spell Emmy. All right. Anything else before we wrap up and get out of here?
Okay, so the last thing I wanted to ask you is I tweeted, I think it was last week, that I had a dream about the...
Yeah, do you want to unpack that? What was that about?
Yeah, let's unpack that real quick. I just want to say that I didn't have a dream longing for her, like how she looked in high school. I had a dream about meeting her, and as an adult, 30 years later, I haven't seen my high school crush in like 30 years, and I'm still having random dreams where I meet her as an adult. Tell me, what is that? You went to a little bit of medical school. Tell me what's wrong with me.
Is she married?
I don't know.
Maybe you should reach out to her. Maybe
I don't even know how. She's not. I've looked for her on social media. I've never been able to find her.
Maybe she passed away. I feel like that's what happens when it's like she's coming to you in a dream.
Yeah. Yes, maybe that's
that morbid. Sorry, I hope she did it. I hope she's alive and well and happy and living her best life. But I'm no dream expert. We might need to look. I should grab my dream book out. I have one somewhere.
You have a dream book. Okay. What does it mean when I'm still, not even an ex-girlfriend. She would never even go out with me because she was Jehovah's Witness.
Which is a crush.
It was just a total crush. We played footsie a couple times in social studies class, but totally never even went out with her. She didn't date anybody. And the last time I saw her was high school graduation.
To be honest, those people end up being like fucking weirdo. So it's okay. Like, you probably don't need to find out. Just let it go. Like, if it happens again, whatever, maybe just let it go.
Yeah. Fair. All right. Yes. Steph, which is worse? This streamer only getting $30.
Definitely the $30. Definitely the $30.
Oh,
That's
okay.
rough.
All right.
Because you could have kept the dream to yourself. The $30, people were there. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? All right, we are getting out of here. We'll be back on Wednesday. Sean Green is on, so we're going to talk some Eagles. Shaggy Betts is on. And then we might do maybe a bonus episode about Love Island. Maybe Brandon Jacobs is
Oh, no.
come on.
We are 100% doing a Love Island.
Tomorrow,
we got to promote this.
10 p.m.
10 p.m. Eastern time, we're doing a Love Island recap show with Stephie and special guests. That's all we'll say right now.
Yeah.
Special guests, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So if you're into Love Island, or your wife loves, or girlfriend loves, or a sister loves Love Island, make sure you watch.
Betting Love. I got shit to say. I am invested. I'm not normally like a super brain rot. Well, in some ways or whatever. Not usually into reality TV, but this shit's got me in a chokehold.
Yes. So total bonus episode.
Rate, review, whatever. Do all the things for us. And we will see you tomorrow, I guess, talking Love Island.